Okay, full disclosure for those who are watching this is my testimony and life story. If you're a kid watching this, let your parents watch it first before you watch it, so there's viewer discretion as it talks about topics that possibly are not suitable for kids. Now, with that disclosure or disclaimer out of the way, I don't know how I'm going to do this video as I feel it's time I do this, but I don't know how I want to do it because me just talking like this, I mean, there's nothing to look at. Plus, this mask muffles my voice, so maybe I'll be playing a game while I discuss it. Give my testimony from telling God literally I will do it to asking God, what do you want me to do? Because I literally at one point told him I was going to do what I wanted to do, and that ended horribly. So without further ado, this is my story, and do advise this is why when people try telling me God doesn't exist and Jesus is not real, that basically my life is a testimony to that being true, and here's why. Also, for those who are saying that I'm doing YouTube just to get famous, no, I'm not making videos for millions of people to like me, as there are millions of people who are just like me in regards to either their life story or things they've gone through, or just I don't really know per se. I just know a lot of people are in the same boat as I am, either mentally or they're going through the same things that I went through, or if not worse situations than me. So if this was for the money, I would have quit months ago. It all started back when I was a kid. We'll just say that I was adopted 3 times within the same family. My great grandparents had 3 kids. Yeah, 3 kids. One kid gave birth to 2 daughters. One of those daughters gave birth to me when she was 14 due to a, let's just say, non-consensual situation, possibly. I'm not 100% sure on that, as I've heard from all sides of the family that different stories about that situation. She went to go get her GED, and at that point, I was put in the other side of the family to one of the 3 kids that my great grandparents gave birth to. Now, that family raised me till I was 8. They were sort of abusive in different ways, mentally, physically. At least in my perspective, I feel that, but I mean, I talk to them nowadays and everything's fine, so don't get me wrong. I mean, things are fine, but I'm pretty sure it's abusive. When I was with that family, they decided it would be a good idea to give her my bio paperwork saying, oh, it's just for his doctor stuff so we can get him checked out, make sure everything's okay, when in reality it was adoption papers that she was signing, and she lost me due to that. Once that happened, I was locked into this family, and my bio mom spiraled to hard drugs like heroin and stuff. Well, I think it was just heroin, because she didn't know how to cope with that, as the family betrayed her basically at that point. And then from there, the family got sick and tired of raising me. I guess that was too much work, at least from what I remember. They had 3 other kids that I was living with, and they thought that it would be better for me to go to foster home when I was 8. So the other kid, okay, so my great grandparents had 4 kids, not 3. So the other family from the great grandparents side, the son, one of the other son's wife heard about this when she was up there visiting and told them, no, you're not putting him in a foster home. We're going to bring him home with us to Florida. And they laughed in her face saying, no, there's no, that's stupid. Your kids are older than him, this, that, and the other. Would it be a good fit? And she told them, well, we're not letting him leave the family. So they took me home that exact summer, I think, that they were visiting. Which by that point I was very confused, a lot of anger, a lot of, just because this was the 3rd family at this point that I have gone to. And there was a lot of baggage I came with from like I said, anger issues, lying, stealing, you name it, that was me. I was not exactly a good, easy kid. There was a lot of baggage that came with it, and there was a lot of things that morally and whatnot that I did. Thankfully, though, this family is Christian, so they started raising me as a Christian ever since I moved there. At 8 till 21 is when I moved out. But life there was hard the first few years as I was adjusting. I was in trouble literally every single day. Because I lied, I stole, I got in fist fights, you name it, I did it. And then eventually from that point, I started learning, started becoming better, and then gave my life to Christ. I want to say I was 10, 11, somewhere around there when I was baptized. I'm not 100% sure on that. And then when I turned 18, everything started going downhill mentally for me. I was depressed. I was dealing with the stress of living there, as I felt like it was a high stress situation, day in, day out. I would wake up okay, and then by the nighttime I was depressed and not wanting to do anything. And then I was working for Roblox at that point, as I was 18, and I worked for Vehicle Simulator. I still do somehow. And life was good with that. I was making some decent money. I was trying to make my own game, and my own game flopped. That was just because there's different issues within my own game. It's fine. And then I got my first real job working for a retail company. Had a good manager, taught me lots of things I still use to this day. But at that point in my life, I was determined that I was going to do what I wanted to do rather than listening to people around me. I straight up told God, basically, that I was going to do the Roblox thing for the rest of my life. I wanted the fame, I wanted the money. Very idiotic, very stupid of me. Would not recommend anyone doing that. I'm very glad that he, one, didn't just strike me dead right then and there. And then two, that now that I'm older and stuff, and he actually gave me a second chance. We'll get more into that a little bit later. But then I started dealing with other things, which most of you guys probably would know, whether that be drinking, pornography, and various other things. I think it was mostly pornography, and when I hit 21 I started drinking. So by this point in my life, I finally graduated high school. I was homeschooled for the last 2 years, thankfully passed by the skin of my teeth. I was not really a good student, but I was a hands-on learner, opposed to you just tell me what to do in the class and me learn it. Then from there, I was working for Roblox, I was working my other job. Depression was getting bad. The stress in my house was getting really bad because my dad at that time just got laid off of work for various reasons. They were discussing moving, and I was trying to figure out a way to move before they moved. That way they didn't have to worry about me. Plus I was out of the house, which I had online friends at that point through a community. Let's just say kink community, not the LGBTQ community. I won't get into details on that, as it may not be suitable for some of you guys, and if you guys are wondering, ask your parents what that is. But yeah, I was deep in that community at the age of 18 through 22. Some of my online friends said that I could move in with them into Indiana. So we planned that for a year. When I was in Florida, I was working my retail job and the Roblox job, and I was just stashing away any money that I made, trying to make enough to move. So then, I want to say it was at 21 in August, I basically lied to my parents, saying that I was moving in with friends that I knew from my job who moved to Indiana, which was not true at all. I knew them through online means, but I knew one worked at a preschool as a lunch lady, and the other lady, we'll just name her I don't know a good female name. I don't know. Okay, I don't know. I don't have names. So, anyways, the other girl's dad was military, high ranking military. Like, he was called by name for jobs, and if she tried to do anything, he would lose his job. So I wasn't too worried about that. So around August, I moved when I was 21. So that was 2022, right when COVID first hit. I moved to Indiana. My dad told me, you're not moving there. You will get killed on a bus or something. My mom was more accepting of it. I mean, she was hurt because of how I said it was high stress in that house. And again, I lied about various things within that because I just want to get out of that household. So then I moved to Indiana. Dove more into the lifestyle stuff, which I don't want to get into too much detail. It's not a proud moment, but it was something that I struggled with, along with pornography and whatnot. And by that point, I was an alcoholic, I'd say, as I would drink almost every night, and I got blackout drunk once or twice when I was in Florida, and then I moved to Indiana. The one roommate who I believe tried grooming me / using me, she helped me get out of the alcoholism. She also helped cope with the depression that I had and various other things. She was there supporting me, which was great. And then things kind of got rough there in Indiana. I worked for Amazon at that point, which was a nightmare, as I worked for, I think it was like a half-mile long facility. It was really big and very stressful. And the people there in Indiana were polyamorous, as well as in the lifestyle and some other things like LGBTQ, and also into witchcraft, which was not good for me. So things started to get tense around there, as there was a lot of arguments with them between both sets of couples, and them both not happy. And the girl who was helping me with the coping, I really wish I had names for these people. I don't want to use their actual names. Let's say girl 1 and girl 2. So girl 1 is the one who helped me with the coping and all that. She and her boyfriend at the time offered for us to move into a new apartment in Carmel, Indiana. Beautiful place. Highly recommend it. If you are in Indiana, check it out. Really loved it there. But then girl 1 decided, once we moved into the apartment, because it was getting very tense and stuff, I also, by that point, contacted witchcraft. There was a necklace on the ground made out of onyx. I didn't think much about it, kind of scoffing at the fact that she claimed there's spirits in there. I'm like, there can't be. So I fell on the floor one day. I went to pick it up. It shocked me, burned my hand physically, and I literally saw a demon. My vision got cloudy. Really bad experience, but I didn't think much about it. After that, as when I was a kid, I used to see shadow people, which confused the crap out of me, but I wasn't sure what that was. But I think there's a lot of demonic attachments that I had as a kid, and this just made it 10 times worse by grabbing that necklace and being around witchcraft. Not that she would cast any spells or do anything like that around me, but because there were items in the house that had that. Girl 2, at least, she was a Wiccan. So I think being in the house also opened up different demonic doors and whatnot for me, which was not good. And by this point, when I moved into the new apartment with the girl and her boyfriend, I had my own room. They had their own room. I worked for Amazon. Things were great until she used to live in California with this Dom, who owns his own dungeon, this, that, and other, in California. He's a coder. He was making good money. He had 2 submissives at that point. Again, if you don't know what any of that is, ask your parents. If they don't want to explain it, just move on. Don't look it up on the internet. It's just, you don't want to go down that rabbit hole. I would consider it demonic in a sense. That whole lifestyle now, looking back on it. But 2 of his submissives girl 1 was friends with those people. She wanted to move back in with them. One of them was trying to convince her to move back. I stressed to both of them, look, we can't move to California. We can't afford it. There's no way. California was the most expensive state. Plus, I had various things of just in my soul. I did not want to move there. There's just something pulling at me, telling me don't do it. So I tried convincing them for 3 months. Since we literally just moved into this new apartment, we had a 12-month lease, and they convinced both of them to move to California. So at that point, my aunt reached out to me saying, "Hey, if you don't want to move to California, we can move you to PA." So I moved there, and I lost contact with these two people, even though I helped them. I bought them a TV, I bought them a moving van, I helped the girl one, I helped her daughter, or not her daughter, her son, and her sister, which I'm still friends with to this day. But I'm pretty sure girl one was trying to like groom me and manipulate me, just using me for money and her own pleasure in regards to me buying her things. I never think we did anything sexual with these people, and that's good. I'm looking, if I was to do something sexual with them and looking back on it now, I'd probably be like more depressed and angry with myself. So I moved to PA, they moved to California. Things didn't work out for them in California. They moved to Florida. Hurricane took out their stuff. They were still alive. They're still well. I don't know what they're doing to this day, as they have cut me out of their life, basically. Which I don't mind. God brings people and takes people out of your life for a reason. So, I mean, they were great for the temporary stuff, but I don't know. I'm not mad about it. It is what it is. Sure, I'm out of some money, but at the end of the day, money you can't take with you to your grave, so it don't matter. So by this point, I'm moving in PA. Also, quick jump in while I'm editing this video. My bio mom did convince me, because I had communication with her when I was in Indiana, to not to move to California, as I was stuck in between yes and no on moving there. I forgot to add that while I was talking. My bio mom and me got back together in terms of communication, as girl one, at the time when I was living in Indiana, convinced me to talk to her and figure out what happened with that whole situation, which I now know the whole story. From there, I didn't work. I was working on Roblox stuff only specifically, and then I got a job at a t-shirt factory in PA. Another quick jump in. At this point, I was also still running King community servers and whatnot. I was still doing all of that stuff despite being out of Indiana. Still not living a godly life. Lived with my bio mom for a little bit. By a little bit, I mean like 2 or 3 months, if that. But then I started smoking weed, which is, in my opinion, a gateway drug. I was abusing it, but the first year was fine. I would smoke, make t-shirts, smoke on my break, smoke the carts. I would prank on that all day, and then go home, work on Roblox stuff, and then also play CSGO, as I was just starting to get into that in the skin trading community. I was also running a YouTube channel at this point, just starting out and doing it for fame and hopefully money at this point. And then that wasn't working out, so then I moved out there to Buffalo, New York, and then from there I got a job at a specific retail store, which I will not mention for legal reasons, and they tried pulling some shady illegal things, so I quit that retail store, and then I got another job elsewhere, as they were trying to get me fired from my other job. I was part-time at both, and they did not like that. By that point, I was still smoking weed until I went into an episode which was fully demonic, basically, which I don't know if it was God that I saw or demons, as it could have been a mix, but either way, it's a very scary situation where I had voices in my head. I saw myself in pitch darkness with horns, like full demonic, with them saying, "This is what you've become. This is who you are right now. And, like, this is why you cannot go to heaven. This is why you are how you are." I was scared out of my living mind. Everywhere I looked, I was hearing voices. I killed everyone, like my family and that, in these visions. I was dead. I was in a hospital. I saw demons storing up in the toilet by this point because I overdosed on weed. I don't know if it's spiced or not. Doesn't matter, as the visions were very much real to me. And at that point, I knew I had to stop smoking, or at least stop taking edibles, as I was doing that too. So then I went to specifically just the carp, but I hit it once, went full right back into this burning sensation and this vision of this is who you are and this is why you cannot go to heaven. And then basically I felt like I was in a different dimension with these entities basically telling me like this is who you are, showing me like me as a murderer, this, that, and the other, showing family members of mine being like demons or different things they did in their past. So at this point I seeked medical help because I needed meds, I thought, at this point. So I got on depression meds, I got on sleeping pills because it takes me like 4 hours to fall asleep because I'm hyperactive. I started seeing a therapist. Things started to get a little bit better. I stopped smoking weed entirely. I'm still doing pornographic or looking at pornographic stuff and still in a lifestyle to some degree. I was still working at this retail job, Roblox, and just doing YouTube. I just started YouTube at that point because I wanted to, or no, I was like 3 months in, 4 months into YouTube at that point. As at first I was doing YouTube for fame and money, but I started building a community that I didn't expect to build, which was really interesting to me, as there's a lot of people who could relate to me and went through similar life situations or same hobbies as me, which blew my mind, as I know I'm not the best YouTuber in any means. I'm not that great of a content creator right now. I have so much to learn. I started looking at that as a therapy session for me, using YouTube, doing product reviews, energy drink reviews, all these other things, the whole 9 yards. This is also while I went to that whole spiritual dimension thing when I was doing the weed, also showing me that I was doing, or I was living this life for fame and money opposed to for God. Now, since all that stuff has happened, I cut out the smoking, like I said. I drink. I drink in moderation though, but I may even cut that out entirely just because you never know. Both my bio parents were highly addictive, alcoholics. No, one has addictive personality, the other was a raging alcoholic. So for me, it's dangerous territory, and if it's not benefiting, if it's not to the glory of God, what's the point of it? Basically, we're at now, which is probably a week before this. The parents who raised me in Florida brought up some of my lifestyle stuff, which, how they know, I don't know. I'm not mad about it. It's God basically still told me, hey, you're doing things wrong. This is what you need to change. So since then, I threw out everything that was related to that lifestyle. I've cut out pornographic stuff from my life. And YouTube will now be my platform to reach other people who have testimonies or have gone through the same things that I've gone through, whether it be abandonment, drugs, sex, money, grooming, whatever. And I'm going to be starting my own company now, where any transaction I do, they will get a free Bible sent to them. I will be building e-bikes for people around here. Hopefully I can give out some to either homeless people or to the local churches. I gotta figure that all out. There's still a lot I need to do. There's still a lot with my life that I probably glossed over or didn't say. I've decided I need to make this video because I'm just like anyone else. I am a sinner. I'm not perfect by any means. I feel like we're getting very close to end times, and a lot of people say they believe Jesus, but they don't actually act like it. Like, faith without works is meaningless. Like, I want to be on the right side rather than being... I used to want to be a superhero when I was a kid. Hence why I wear the mask and all that. I think it's cool. I like to keep my face hidden, as I don't care about the fame now. Originally, I was going to do a face reveal at a certain subscriber mark, but now I don't care. I probably will always keep my face hidden. Those who know me in real life, okay, that's one thing, but online, I just don't want that fame and fortune to follow me. Rather than being a superhero like I originally wanted, I'd rather be a warrior for God, which I think is kind of ironic how I went from the whole hero phase to now being a warrior phase, which, I mean, it still works. It's just funny how God has turned everything that was negative in my life into what I am now. Which is why when people tell me that God's not real, I look back, even though I told God that I was going to do my own thing, He was still there, despite all my shortcomings, despite all my rebellions, and still offered me to be saved. Biggest takeaway from my life to this day is God's always there, just waiting for you to open the door. You just gotta knock and He'll open the door. It doesn't matter what your lifestyle is, how depressed you are, what you've done, He's still there. Especially with how the world's becoming nowadays, which I think, like I said earlier, the world could be ending very soon. Jesus could be coming back very soon. I need to get my life in order for the glory of God and to expand His kingdom, opposed to just trying to get famous and make money and then die, and it means nothing. It's not contributing to His kingdom. It's not doing anything beneficial. It's just a waste of my life. If you have any questions, or if I didn't explain things properly, let me know in the comments below or DM me. I'm free to talk to. I try staying very open with my community. I am just a normal human being, just like all of you guys. I don't want anyone to think I'm better than anyone else, because I'm really not. I'm the same as you in every aspect. You are as equal as I am. I don't care how poor you are. I don't care how unknown you are. You're still a human being, got made in God's image, and therefore we're all equal. Player signing off.